Welcome to this week's episode of Fantasy Golf Gods. We are your host. I'm Rusty Miller, and that's Matt Jacobs.
Hey guys.
We are at the Pebble Beach for the AT&T Pebble Beach ProAm.
We are.
So, interesting field, interesting format. Not one of my favorite courses. Not one of my favorite events to watch on TV.
Yeah, I don't like the format at all. I think it's dumb. I get why they do it, and I think it's a dream of mine to go play in this Pro-Am, but I just don't like the format, and I wish I'd change it.
Yeah. It makes it really... Okay, so we're talking, it is 156 golfers, professional golfers, 156 amateurs, all playing 3 courses over 3 days. So you have a 54-hole cut, and then 60 professional golfers make the cut on Sunday, for Sunday, so that's 10 short of normal, and then the 54-hole cut throws things off, and you're on separate courses, so coverage sucks, and it's just not one of my favorite weeks on tour.
No, like you said, it's a great course to watch with Pebble, but I'd rather just see them change this over to 3-4 days at Pebble, maybe Spyglass, do 2 courses and not try to get the 3 in there. But I understand why I do it. It's a giant money-making event for this turn for these people. So
yeah, and I mean, I guess next year's U.S. Open's at Pebble, so we'll get 4 days of Pebble then. So, yeah, that'll be nice. But
that's fair enough.
All right, before we get into that too much, let's recap last week's event, the Waste Management Phoenix Open.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I did pretty well. Not great, but decent. Was sitting real good for a while on Sunday morning, and then a couple of my guys kind of slid down the leaderboard instead of going up, which was fine. I still made some money, so I'm happy with that. I like that event. It's a fun event.
It is a fun event. I'm glad it's only 1 week a year. It would get old if it was a lot, but it makes it a lot. I just don't. I mean, it's so well ran there that I don't know that other facilities could run it and not have it get too out of control.
Yeah, I think they do well with it. And like you said, once a year is fine. I think they ran it completely well. 16 was awesome to watch.
17 is, I think, just as much fun.
Well, the drama on 17 and 18 I thought were really good. 16, I think most people watch 16 just for the crowd. 17 and 18 are drama-filled holes.
Yeah.
And what Gary Woodland and
Ches
did on 17 and 18, Ches making that putt to go into a playoff was awesome. So, I liked it.
Yeah, I had a decent week. I would have had a great week if the cut had fallen to even. So Harkins and Spieth were in between the two of them. I would have probably went 6 for 6 out of 19 out of my 20 lineups if those two had made it. So
yeah, because you were pretty heavy on both of those.
I was. So I would have had a real good weekend. I did end up cashing. I had some Bo Hostler, a lot of Xander, and a lot of JT. JT on Saturday got my hopes up. And then on the back 9, just decided to take them all away.
I don't know.
So
that was a very interesting round because you had texted me right off the bat as he started.
Yeah.
And I was watching it, and he just started climbing, and then it's like he decided to...
He was 2 shots in the lead.
I think he started playing golf like the rest of the world.
I mean, bogeyed 14, tripled 15, and doubled 16, including missing a 1.5-foot tap in.
So, with your best speculation, what happened?
I don't know. He says it just happened, and that things like that happen, and you can't really control it. But I mean, and then I was hoping for maybe a run on Sunday, and his first 9, I think he was 1 under, parred everything but 1. And then on the back, he went 4 under. So if he would have done that 4 under on Saturday with the front 9, he would have been, 59 watch the whole day and in the lead, and it would have been a different weekend for me for sure. But
so do you want to know what I think happened?
What?
I think he started to think that he could win. and that he was going to win. You don't see that, because all that is a mental collapse. That was 100% mental collapse. It's not like he hit a sprinkler head and got a bad bounce. It's not like something derailed his round. He derailed his round. So I don't think anybody can argue that it wasn't mental. He started thinking about it too much, and off came the wheels. I mean, I liked what you posted on Twitter, because that was pretty much the exact picture that represented his round.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was a fun event. I didn't cash too much, but I did end up cashing some. So
congratulations to Gary Woodland.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
And
glad to see him get the monkey off the back.
That was a huge putt on 18 in regulation.
Yeah.
I found myself rooting against Phil for the first time ever.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, at least been okay.
At least for the first time in 5 years. Like, I physically, I didn't want him to win. Like, I usually don't care. Like, it'd be good for Phil. Yeah. But I think I had too many of his thumbs up all week. Every time he made a putt, he thumbs up the crowd. Like he's running for office or something. So, I mean,
Fair enough.
So, it's interesting because people love him this week, and I made my lineups yesterday and didn't put him in any of them.
That's funny because I'm looking at some of the lineups I've made so far, and I don't have a single share of Phil yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to.
I mean, he plays well. Well, we can get into it.
Yeah. All right.
So, we did talk about 3 courses and stuff, but it is Pebble.
Pebble for 2 guaranteed.
If you make the cut.
If you make the cut.
So, the first 3 rounds, you play 1 at Monterey Peninsula, 1 at Spyglass, and 1 at Pebble. And then after that, the 4th round, Sunday, is at Pebble as well. So,
and the courses are relatively short as far as...
They're some of the shortest courses on tour. They're all $6,900 or not $6,900, 6,900 yards or lower.
Yeah,
so,
Pebble 68.
Yeah.
Peninsula and Spy are 69. Par 72 for Spy, 71 for Peninsula, and 72 for Pebble. So we're gonna have some gettable par 5s.
So, and the way the courses go, Monterey is probably as gettable as Pebble, and Pebbles is the easiest. Spyglass is the harder of the 3 courses, and weather this week is supposed to be perfect, no wind whatsoever.
No.
So if there is some wind, Spyglass is the one that can get. I mean, they're all on the coast, and half the holes are on the ocean.
I think Saturday was the only day I saw that there might be some wind, if any.
Yeah. So right now, weather looks really good, and I mean, I don't know. You got to make your hay on Spy and go low on Pebble.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stay. I think the cut has been, 1 under, and the winning score is averaging 16 under. No, it's been at 3 under. 3 to 5 under, really. Is it?
Yeah, 5 last year, 3, 7 and 15, 3, and then 4. So
yeah, so
3, 4, 5 under.
Okay.
After 3, but that's 3 rounds, so you really only have to shoot.
So if you're
1
even
to 2
on Spy and go 2 under on each of the other courses, you're probably gonna make
the cut.
Yeah. Okay.
So
past winners I've got here if you want to hear them.
Yeah.
Jimmy Walker in 2014. 2015 was Brant Snedemeyer or Snedeker.
Yes.
I like to make up names for these golfers.
I'm aware.
Vaughn Taylor with Phil coming in second in 16.
Yeah, Phil missed a.
And then Jordan Spieth last year.
Okay. Most of the par 4s are between 350 and 400 yards. They're not long par 4s. There's 5 of those. There's a couple 400 to 450, which on tour is short.
Yeah, that's just a normal.
Just think about it though. 2 weeks ago they were at Torrey Pines. It was 7,700 yards, and this week Pebble is 6,800 yards.
That's a huge difference.
It's unbelievable.
You know what that means? It's going to be very important this week.
Hitting the greens in regulation.
Greens in regulation and iron play.
So fairways are fairly wide, fairly easy to hit. Greens are the size of this room. They're
which we're not in a big room.
Well, No, I'm just kidding. It's go to your local municipal golf course.
Yeah, I was gonna say these are muni course size greens. They're
Yeah.
not, PGA Tour greens that are 5,000 square foot.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I think they're average 3,500 square feet, so they're just about half the size of most tour greens.
Yep.
So that makes scrambling, greens and regulation, up and downs, things like that, fairly important.
Yep.
Also,
because if you're hitting greens and regulation on a course like this, chances are you're going to have a birdie attempt because you're not going to be 75 feet, 80 feet from the hole.
But they are ProAm greens.
They are
so,
greens.
So most, you're going to two-putt 90% of them, it seems like. So putting's not a huge factor just because you can't really bank on ProAm greens that much.
Yeah, I actually don't have putting in any of my key
I don't
stats
either.
this week.
I don't either. I think scrambling and greens and regs are going to be better than putting. I also think with the par 4 scoring, proximity from 100 to 125 for the par 4s and then 200 plus for the par 5s.
Yeah.
Those are, if you got good proximity there, you're going to hit your greens and regulations. Greens and regulations, maybe if you run it for Pebble, but if you do just greens and regulation everywhere, it to me it doesn't really correlate because they're going to be twice as big.
Yeah.
So, I just think you need to be as close to proximity as possible. So that's where I'm at on it.
Sure, fair enough.
Anything else you got?
So this week I'm trying something a little different with my key stats.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I run 3 or 4 key stats and try to hone in on some of those. This week I'm running 7 key stats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 key stats to try the other way, just to try it. Weighting them a little bit different than I normally do, just to see.
Well, yeah, we got 10% of everything.
12%, 14% of birdies, 25% of greens and regulation, 14% of ball striking, 14% of birdies are better gained, 10% of DraftKings points, 14% of proximity 100 to 125, and 14% strokes gained par 5.
I think it's too much.
I think it is too, but I want to try it, see if it gives me anything different, because I've done it the other way for so long. I just want to see, and Fantasy National makes it so easy to do this that I can actually run another screen and go back to my other stats that I like to run and jump back and forth and see. So we'll try it out.
All right, you ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's talk about the top guys.
So we have 5 above $10,000. You have DJ, no surprise, he's the most expensive at 11.7, followed by Rahm at 11.4, Rory at 11.1, J Day at 10.9, and Spieth at 10.7.
Yeah, those are some good golfers. That's your class of the field right there. All those guys.
Yeah.
I like some of these guys up here. We had talked a little earlier about Rory. I'm in the holding pattern on Rory. I want to see what he does over here versus overseas before I do anything on him. Rahm. I like Rahm. I think he's probably going to play well, but I'm still a little nervous because this is his 5th tournament in a row. He's played a lot, but he has a lot to gain here, possibly going to world number 1.
Yeah, Rahm scares me this week too. He's played. This is his 5th out of 6 weeks. He took the Sony off. He played the Tournament of Champions, took Sony off, and he's played all 4 on California/Arizona, and now this week. So 5 out of 6 weeks he's played.
That just got to be grueling.
And if you looked, his last 2 weekends, he's fallen off the not fallen off the leaderboard, but has fallen out of contention.
Yeah, he started high and then has slowly drifted low.
Is that just bad luck? Is that
I don't know.
Getting tired? Is that...
how old is he?
23, 24?
Low 20s. And you would think he'd have the stamina and energy to do this. But I think there's a mental process and grind on these guys that day in and day out wears these guys out. And that was what worries me going into this. And he's going to have the chatter of the Pro-Am going on. He's going to have some amateur.
And these rounds, they say are like 6.5, 7 hours long. So we'll get into some guys like Bubba. I'm not touching this week. I just think he'll end up wrapping a driver around one of his ProAms.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Bubba's going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Because he's not the kind of guy that wants to play a 7-hour round and listen to some
I don't understand
CEO
why he
company.
plays here.
I don't either.
Well,
I think I know why. I think a lot of these guys are required to.
Oh, well, that may be it.
Sponsors and stuff require them.
It's interesting that Rory's here at Pebble for the first time ever.
Well,
trying to get some...
Don't we have a big tournament coming up here in a
year
or so?
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's why.
Me too. But it's still interesting.
All right, so what are you going to do with Dustin? Anything?
I'm going to fade him.
Fade-ish?
Fade-ish him.
Any shares?
Yeah. I mean, his wedge game is too good.
Yeah.
Plus,
fade. He's always... What?
But
2017, third.
Yeah, his tournament history is good here.
Nothing to speak of. I don't even know if he played. 2015,
Here.
T4.
You can just click on his name if you wanted to.
T2 for 2014.
Yeah.
So, and he pops fourth in my model.
He's fourth in my model too.
So, but he's the highest.
He's the highest, and right now on Fantasy National, he's the highest. One of the highest percent owns at 27%. So it makes it
pretty high.
Pretty easy to fade.
But do you have to fade him at 27% if he wins?
I guess not. Depends on what. With it being up there, do you have enough trust in the 6,900, 7,000, 7,200 golfers to do it?
If I pair him with Austin Cook, who is grossly underpriced, yes.
Can you even talk with all that chalk in your mouth?
I can because I'll probably be at the top of some leaderboards with those two.
Yeah, we'll see.
So you're fading Dustin Johnson. I'll probably fade him too. I'll have a couple shares of him.
The other, it's a strange strategy, but I don't like to play Dustin if I don't play Rom with him, and with them being paired, both to the highest. It really, I mean, you can get him in. Trust me, I tried.
Yeah, you got to go, what, 65, 66?
66, 67, something like that. But with the fact that when DJ plays well, Rom plays well, like his last 4 wins, Rom has finished second. That's incredible. Plus,
yeah,
I hope they both miss the cut so I can use them both at Riviera next week.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
If they both miss the cut here, they're going to come back with a vengeance.
Well, and they both...
they'll finish second and third.
Yeah, well, I mean...
They can't win.
I know, because Tiger's
playing.
The course that he's never won at.
That's all right. He needs to break new records this year.
Oh, okay. Miscuts.
It might be miscuts, but hey, we're 1 for 1.
We are. So, I don't know. I'd rather play both of those next week, but I have a feeling it's going to be increasingly harder to play both of them when they're 1-2 in the world.
Because if Rom does anything good this week, Dustin's going to stay where he's at price-wise next week. He's going to have to.
Yeah, I mean,
and
he
if
won
Rom
last
does
year.
anything decent, he's going to be right there with him.
Right.
So who knows what the field's going to be priced at next week. So it might be hard to play him next week. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so you're fading Dustin.
Yep. Fading Rom.
You're going to take Rory.
I'm making a stand. Yep. Okay. I'm buying into the Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Rory. Can putt. Ball striking's awesome. Finished second, finished third in those 2 events. New year, healthy Rory. I'm all on board before everybody jumps on the board. I'm going to be ahead of that train.
Okay.
Followed by Jason Day.
So you're on both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Rory.
And then I'm fading Spieth.
Okay. Completely?
100%.
100%, not 1 share of Spieth?
None.
Okay.
So, just for the record, 2 weeks ago I faded Ricky 100% and missed the cut. Last week I faded Hideki 100%, except for my 1 and done I used him, and he withdrew. So this week, Spieth, complete fade. Stay away.
I disagree.
Yeah.
We'll get to Spieth here in a second.
Do you want to go now?
No, Rory.
We're ready to fight.
So I'm looking at my proximity 100 to 125. Where does he rank in your?
Yeah, 103rd.
Yeah, 103rd in mine. So that's not real great.
But
it's not including his.
But it's
Abu Dhabi.
Last year when he wasn't playing well to finish the year,
Fair
he
enough.
had the McRib. He had issues. It's a new year. He's healthy. He's one of the best ball strikers, even still.
He is.
He scores DraftKings points. I'm on Rory.
Okay, I agree. I'm not gonna take a lot of them because I'm on that.
Do you have proximity 200 plus on yours?
I don't.
I mean, it's one of the only stats you didn't put in.
It is one of the only stats I don't.
He's second in his last 50 rounds in the field, so he can score on par fives.
Yeah, he's second on mine par fives, fifth in points.
He's seventh in birdies, fifth in DraftKings, third in ball striking. The only thing that this model doesn't like is proximity 100 to 125, and
his wedge game wasn't great last year, and that's a wedge for these guys.
And it's good now if you've watched any of the coverage.
Yeah, it's getting much better.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going to fade him completely. I'm going to fade Rahm 99%. So if I have 100 lineups, I might have them in one. I'll fade Rory 75%. If I have 100, I'll have him in 25. But I'm not going to have 100 lineups. So, but I'll have him in a couple. Jason Day, if he pulls out of the Pro-Am, or I guess they don't have a Pro-Am this week, do they?
The whole
thing's a Pro-Am, so I hope he doesn't pull out. But if he goes on Twitter and says his back hurts on Wednesday, I'm taking him because he's going to win.
Well, so we just talked about what you needed here.
Mm-hmm.
The fairways are wider so he can hit them.
Yep.
And you need a good wedge game.
Correct.
The last time I saw him, he was throwing darts at pins at the Farmers.
He was.
In the dark, sticking them tight.
He was.
So his wedge game, his putting, and his driving's not going to kill him this week. I'll take Jason Day.
Yeah, like I said, I'll have a few shares of them. I'll have a few shares of both Rory. But I'm going to have a lot of Jordan Spieth. And you are 100% fade on Jordan Spieth. And I'm not going to say 100% on Jordan Spieth, but I'm 95% on.
Okay, you make your case. Go.
Okay, well, he missed the cut, so he's going to come back with a vengeance. I think he's so competitive. I think he left the Waste Management Open, probably drove over to Pebble Beach and started playing and practicing. He's that kind of guy. He has that mentality. He is my number one in my model here, and he's got to be in the top in yours. Correct?
Second.
Okay. So we have all the key stats that say he's going to do good. We have his past history here who says that he's going to do good. He hasn't been playing Jordan Spieth like yet this year. But this
Can I interest you in some putting stats this year?
Well, there's a reason I left putting off here. It's so I didn't get skewed by his putting. However, Jordan Spieth is Jordan Spieth. He's not going to play like he's playing all year long.
In his first 3 tournaments, he's lost 9.5 strokes putting to the field.
But do you think that's going to stay?
You think he can just flip it around on Poa greens?
I do.
No way. And his wedge game's not very good right now. His proximity.
He's 16th.
That's 50 rounds.
Okay. So
do it the last 10 rounds and see where he's at.
Let's check it. Well, we can do 12.
Okay.
It's loading.
We'll wait.
It's still loading.
Holy crap.
It's because I have so many stats. Yeah, I agree. His putting hasn't been great. His wedges haven't been great.
So why?
Okay,
so why are you going to take a guy off of a miscut?
Okay, hold on. Proximity in the last 12 rounds from 100 to 125. 5th. Okay, so
and what was he? What was he? In the last 50, second, first?
5th. I think he was 5th.
You don't know that. You're making that up.
No, he wasn't in the top. Smaller greens. His proximity is really good. The putts that I've seen him really have a hard time with is big lag putts
And 4-footers?
I mean,
4-footers!
I'm just saying. I think he was 16th. So he's better in the last 12 rounds than he is in the last 50 rounds.
Okay.
But golfers like Jordan Spieth don't stay down forever. They eventually come back. Jordan had a very off week last week.
So
he's for lack of a better term, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, he sucked. Well, he was a worthless pick last week.
I mean, he
right?
Yes.
And
for his standards, he played really bad.
And you can't tell me he packed up after 18 on Friday and said, "Well, we'll try to get him next time." That's not his mentality. That's not how these guys work. So this guy went to a range. He went and saw who's his guy, McCormick, and started working on this right away. I guarantee it. And I think he's going to come out firing Thursday. Plus, I think he lives for events like this. I think he's that people person, loves being around people, loves interacting with people, and this is going to be his course, or this is going to be his event.
So, he's got defending champ responsibilities this week.
Yep.
He's got a cold putter.
Yep.
He's got the second most owned percentage of the top 5 guys.
Mm-hmm. And he's only $10,700. That helps too. If he was 11.7, no.
Maybe if he was 8.7.
No, it's Jordan Spieth.
Okay.
You're telling me he can't go out and win this tournament? He has no chance of winning this tournament.
I didn't say that.
Okay, so
he has.
What are odds on him? What are Vegas odds? You know.
Last time you spouted off Vegas odds on this podcast, they were completely off, and we got blasted.
I can only tell you what the internet says.
Well, you misread the internet odds. So don't say any. I'm looking it up on Fantasy National, okay? He's going to be one of the top 5 guys. But I'm just telling you, it all adds up to a complete fade.
So according to CBSSports.com, the 2018 Pebble Beach ProAm Vegas odds, I want to confirm that this says...
I have 12-1.
This says 11-1.
Okay. We're in the same ballpark.
6-1 on Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
Rahm at 9-1.
Yep.
Rory at 9-1.
10.
Jay at 9-1 or 10-1.
Yep.
And Woodland at 22.
Yep.
Okay, so we're right there. So 11-1 odds. I'll take it.
Okay.
It's good enough for me. So yeah, so I'm gonna have Spieth in a lot of my lineups because I feel like he's going to come back and do something. He's going to want to get because we got the Masters.
So you're just hoping that he comes back.
Well, sure. I'm gonna bet on him. So why wouldn't I hope for him? I mean,
I guess I'm just going to wait until he shows something.
Let's look at it this way. If we went purely on stats, we'd pick the best top 5 guys we could get based purely on stats. And we've tried that, and it's never worked. So, at some point, feel, gut instinct, and just a complete guess has to come in here. And that's where I'm getting with Jordan Spieth is I feel like he went home with his tail tucked between his legs and his head down, and he's not going to let it happen again. And that's what I'm banking on.
You and 40% of the golf fantasy world this week.
Well, 40% of them are right. The other 60% still got a lot to learn when they watch this podcast.
All right. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out.
So if I gave you a head-to-head with Rory against Spieth this week, you take Spieth?
Yeah, I take Spieth.
You want to make it? Because I'll take Rory.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. There it is.
Okay, we can do it.
All right.
Moving on.
Yeah, we've been here way too long. 9,000s. We have a whopping 4 golfers. Gary Woodland at 99, fresh off his win. Phil Mickelson, I think we all know my stance on him, at 96. Paul Casey at 94 for the first time all year. And Brendan Grace at 91 for the first time all year.
So I like 2 of the 4? 3 of the 4?
3 of the 4?
3 of the 4.
I know you like Woodland, and I know you like Casey. I guess you're going to go with Grace?
I like Grace, yeah. I mean, he's not going to be as in as many lineups, but I like him. I mean, he's 9 for 9 in cuts. He's averaging 88 DraftKings points, and his scoring average right now is 69.8. That's 0.3 of a point behind Woodland. It's better than Mickelson. Who else do we have in there? Casey, and Paul Casey's is 69.8, so it's the same as Casey's. He's played more than Paul Casey, so I like it. I don't have him in a lot of lineups, like I said, but I will have him in a few. Mickelson, I like Mickelson. I don't know. I mean, he's getting old. Can he do it again?
This week is his 100th week. 100th start without a win.
That's a lot of starts without a win.
It's almost 5 years.
Man, he's got to get that monkey off his back.
I mean, last week was his chance.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
he had the crowd behind him. It was a course he likes. You know, Dustin wasn't there. Spieth had missed the cut. I mean, he
had everything going for him to win, but I like Phil. Phil's one of my favorite golfers. I've grown up watching Phil play. I would never be mad if Phil won every tournament from here on out. I don't know that Phil's going to do it. I don't know that Phil is going to win 5 more tournaments.
So here's the thing. You don't need him to win. Do you think he's going to put up a top 10? Because if you think he's going to put up a top 10...
At 96, yeah, I could see a top 10. He's not great in my model.
Can you start a lineup down here?
Oh, yeah, I've got a couple lineups.
I do, too.
I got a couple Woodland Casey lineups.
You're higher on Woodland than I am.
I am. I like Woodland. Greens in regulation in my model, number 1.
He's number 1 in my model.
He's number 5 in my model overall. His worst is proximity, 100 to 125. He's 30th. He can score on par 5s. He's got his current DraftKings points is out of the world. He's killing it.
Do you think?
And at this point, if he goes in here and finishes dead last, does anybody care?
I mean, I do if I put him in my lineup.
Okay, other than the people that have him in the lineup, I mean, does he care? No. He just won. He won in great fashion. He had a hell of a week. He's going into this to have fun now. And that's what makes him dangerous.
You think he, what's his ownership going to be after winning last week and getting a $1,500 price increase?
Anywhere between 18 and 22 would be my guess.
You think it's that high?
Yeah, I do.
I think it's closer to 10 to 12%.
I hope it is, because I'm going to take several shares of him, but I think he's going to be up there. Because I think, a lot of people are going to say, okay, he's a bomber. He can hit the ball. These fairways are pretty wide open. They can hit it as far as they want and go get the ball. He's really good in greens and regulation. But do you have scrambling?
No.
But my thing is...
Yeah, I don't see how you can't take him.
But you don't need his length.
No, you don't need it, but would you rather hit a 7-iron into a hole or a pitching wedge? You're going to score better with a pitching wedge. And that's why 100 to 125, he's phenomenal. He's 30th. He's better than Rahm, Rory on this model, Jason Day, and he's only 6 spots behind Dustin Johnson.
All right, talking me into some, but...
Plus, like I said, a lot of how I pick is feel. And I feel like Gary Woodland is on top of the world right now.
Which could go two ways.
He's either going to put so much pressure on himself that he's going to go out there and fail, or he's going to say, you know what? Let's go have some fun.
Or he's going to say, I don't give a fuck, and...
He's not going to do that. That's not how these guys work.
No, that's probably true. All right, so I'll have some Gary, very little Phil, if any, a lot of Paul Casey, and none of Brennan Grace.
I will have a 50-50 split of Casey Woodland and maybe 1 or 2 of Phil just to put them in there because I like them, and then 1 or 2 of Grace.
Okay. This next group I like a lot.
All right, so tell me.
Cantley at 89, Cooch at 88, Adam Scott at 87, Pat Perez at 86, Chesson Hadley at 85. They finally got his pricing right.
Yeah.
James Hahn at 84, Hostler at 83, Kevin Kisner at 82, Brent Seneker at 81, and Ches at 8,000. Now, if I make 20 lineups, there's one guy in this whole group that I won't have at least 10% of.
You won't have 10%?
Yep.
James Hahn.
Yeah. Everybody else I'll have at least 10% of.
Yeah. I don't know what James Hahn has done recently to get up here. When was the last time he played?
Last weekend.
I didn't even know he played. His ownership was at 3.9. He played at the Farmers.
Yeah, he's played quite a bit. Played at Sony. Didn't he get to the playoff in the Sony? Yeah.
He finished 11th last week?
Yeah.
You know what the problem is? The Golf Channel. I bet they didn't show one shot of his.
I think they showed one because it was really good, and he ended up tipping his cap, and it was 16. They showed 16.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I didn't watch a lot of the coverage on Saturday or Sunday, but I guess he's been playing good. 11th, 45th, 36th, 2nd.
Yeah.
Man, he hasn't missed a cut since the Northern Trust. And his ownership in GPPs was 3.9, 3.2, 7.7, and 1.5 going back to the Sony. I'll take me some Hahn this week.
And right now he's projected at 3%.
I will guarantee you I will have some Hahn in a couple lineups. So something we do, Rusty and I do, towards the end of the before the lock period, is we'll go through and we'll look at the ownership and try to take some lineups based on ownership, because if those guys get lucky, like Hahn does good, I mean, that shoots us right up every leaderboard. So
we take, I usually make it 5% or lower on every golfer. So you just go up to the top tier, find the lowest owned. My guess is going to be like Brennan Grace at 9%.
Yeah.
It will be the lowest owned at the top. And then Hahn is going to be at 3%. And then you can go down to like, probably out of this range. And just kind of build a lineup. And maybe Nick Watney is your next guy at 2% owned.
Yeah.
And he has good track record here. And if they pop, it's just, I just kind of do it as fun.
yeah, you don't go throw it in some super high dollar
No.
lineup. This is more of a fun lineup. Throw it in $1 GPP or a $3 GPP, because if it hit, if you can get 6 of 6 through the cut on that one, you're gonna make some good money, because
2 weeks ago when I had a really bad week, that lineup was the only one that made 6 of 6 through the cut, and I cashed. So it's kind of funny how that works. But out of this range, I really love Cantley. Kuchar is always good. Adam Scott's intriguing because last year he just played so bad, but he is Adam Scott. So Pat Perez, I love.
Yeah,
we'll talk about him a little bit later, but I guess we can talk about him now. Pat Perez, I love. He's been playing super well. Plays coastal courses really well.
Yeah.
The last time he was on a course similar to this, he won it in the CIMB or CJ Cup, whichever one that was. CIMB, I think. And it's a course that fits him because you don't have to hit driver. So he can hit that 3-wood that he hits laser straight and then throws darts at some pins and walks away. He plays Pebble really well. He's going to be in my core, and I like him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue. I like him a lot. I think he's playing better than what my model pops him at. He pops at 31. I don't like him at 31, but I think he's playing much better than that right now. But that's over 50 rounds. I'm going to change it over the last 24 rounds and see what that does for it. I will have him in several lineups. I've contemplated putting him in my core as well because I think he plays, this style of course well. He's out in California. That's where he likes to be. He likes the warm weather. This is going to be a good course for him. But I don't know if you're taking him in your core, I might pivot off of him and go to somebody else.
Do you like Hadley?
So he goes all the way up to 10th if you do the last 24 rounds.
Do you like Hadley? Played super well last week. Was in the 6,000s. Got a nice couple $1,000 increase this week.
So Hadley will be in my core.
Okay.
He is number 1 in my model.
He's third in mine.
Off of 24 rounds. So that means he's been playing some phenomenal recent golf. And that's, that's one thing people need to do is when they look at this, look at 50 rounds, look at 24 rounds, look at 12 rounds. Just make sure you know which tournaments they've played in. And
so, Hostler has been playing well. Made a run on Saturday up the leaderboard. Didn't really do anything on Sunday for me. I'll have some of him. Kisner is the same boat as Pat Perez. From the standpoint of he'll hit his driver though instead of his 3-wood, but he's not super long. He can putt. His irons are really good. These are the type of courses that he plays well in. So I'll have Kisner. Plus, nobody ever plays Kisner, so his ownership is always low. Snedeker past winter, I'll probably not have much, if any. He has been playing well. And Chez Reavie, after last week, will probably have some more ownership than he did last week. And so I'll have some, but not a ton.
Yeah.
Anybody else there you like?
I like Hadley, Perez. I like Hahn's ownership. We'll see how that goes towards the end of the week. I like Snedemeyer here.
Snedeker.
He's not been playing super great.
Oh, he played last 2 weeks fairly well.
He pops 47th in the last 24 rounds and 111th in ball striking. So that worries me a little bit, but he's done well here before in the past. So I might have a little of him. Reavie, we'll see what his ownership is like towards the end of the week before I make a call on him, but definitely Hadley and Perez in this area.
Okay. So I'm just going to name a couple guys.
Yeah, there's so many 7,000s.
Yeah. I'm going to give you guys that I like and then a couple guys that I don't mind. So I'm just going to run down the list real quick. Don't mind Chappell, don't mind Reed, hate Bubba. Nick Watney's interesting, but I probably won't play any of him. Brian Gay is interesting, maybe small shares. Shane Lowry, after his miscut 2 weeks ago, 7,500. I like him. He's got good course history and he pops in the model. Julian Siri last week was at like $7,000. Shot like 118 over par and got an increase in pricing, so I will not have any of him. Sang Moon Bay still hasn't made a cut since he came back.
And I want him to.
I do too, but until he does, I'm off of him.
Yeah, he can't do anything.
Stuart Sink has good track record and pops in the model here. Streelman never misses a cut, ever, so I like him here.
Yeah.
Hoffman's good, still underpriced.
Streelman's number 1 in my greens and regulation gained.
Yeah. And then down here, Chris Kirk is good. Trey Molinex is okay and has good track record, so I'll probably have a couple of him because he's not going to be very owned. And then $7,000, the probably the most egregious misprice in 6 months. Austin Cook back down to $7,000 with this group. So my guess is he's going to be between around 30% owned.
I was going to say between 27 and 30.
So to make it worth it, he's going to have to be in 75 to 100% of my lineups. Yeah. And he will be. I just don't see...
At $7,000, you can't not take him.
Well,
I mean, I don't care if he's 100% owned.
Yeah.
He's probably. I mean, I could see him finishing top 25 here easily.
The simulator on
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy National. Do you have any idea what chance to win he has?
Like how many wins out of 1,000?
Mhm.
I would say 22.
32. That makes him the 7th most popular guy
As far as
according.
potential wins.
Yeah,
Huh, that's pretty good. It's a few more than I thought, but
they have him at 31% or 31 to 1 to win.
mm-hmm.
And you know, like Vegas has Gary Woodland at 22, and Gary Woodland's $9,900.
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean I said it at the beginning. You pair a Dustin Johnson with an Austin Cook because Austin Cook is the most grossly underpriced golfer there is right now. So I can't argue with that. You went through every golfer between 7,000 and 79. Said who you liked. I like a lot less than you do in this area. I will tell you that I like. Man, there's not many. Who was it? Chris Kirk I like.
Mm-hmm.
Sink I think is in here.
Yep.
I like JB Holmes. Course history. I like it here. Surrey, no. I'm not touching Surrey. Other than that, I mean, I could see a little bit of Chapel. I like Chapel here. But other than that, there's... Is Sink in here? Somewhere?
Yeah.
Sink I like. But then, yeah, Austin Cook. I don't know how many lineups I'll have of him. It's going to be hard not to put him in my core at that price.
Who?
Austin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
Because why wouldn't you? Going below the 7,000s into the 6,900s, there are two guys I like. I know there's one guy you like. I like DeChambeau and Cabrera Bello. You like Cabrera Bello. You do not like DeChambeau. However, in my current ranking, in the last 24 rounds, Hadley number 1, DeChambeau number 2.
I mean, I don't know. DeChambeau is the same guy. He's either going to...
Plus, he's got the new grooves. New grooves is where it's at, dude.
Okay. He also has one-length irons.
I mean, theoretically, it should work.
Yeah, the mad scientist said it did. He's just primed for a miscut. That's all.
He is.
That's all. And I like the coat rack here. He's got good course history.
Yeah, I do like that.
RCB. And then when you go really, really low,
Is this the guy? Have we talked about the guy? We haven't talked about the guy.
we haven't talked about Matt Jones.
Matt Jones.
Matt Jones is interesting because he's, 3 of 6 on the cut, but his course history here is really good for what that price is.
Yeah.
I gotta find it real quick.
Yeah, because he's how much? Like 66 or 60?
67, I think.
60.
6,800. T23, T11, T7, T45, T30. Not missed a cut in the last 5 years. Not been higher than 30 in the last, or I guess 45. And with 2 top 11s.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great in my model. 83rd in recent rounds at 24, 137th in ball striking, 125th in par 5 strokes gained. So
I mean, he's awful in my model.
nothing says he should play good, but this could be one of those cases of courses for horses.
1% owned.
Yeah, so I'm going to take him in a couple. I've already got him in a couple lineups.
Yeah.
I'm going to be careful with him because he's someone that could go out and play like a 6 handicap and shoot an 80.
All right, so a couple other guys down here low. Van Aswagen, who, I always like,
Yeah.
doesn't have really good track history here, so I'm going to lay off of him 1 week. He did he bogeyed late to miss the cut last week, too. Drove me crazy. Russell Knox, I think, is an interesting play. He's probably too good to be at 6,700.
Yeah, he's 14th in my current model.
So is Russell Henley and Billy Horschel. So if you have to go down to 66, 67, Knox, Henley, Horschel, Tom Hoagie has a really good track record here. So those 3 or 4 guys, but you're not going to make money living down here, so...
No, because it's going to be so
away.
sporadic.
All right, that's all I got.
I mean, that's really all I got as far as the salaries and everything go. So we'll get into our core.
Yeah, so my core is no surprise. Rory, Pat Perez, RCB, and Austin Cook.
Okay.
Leaves you like $8,700.
Yeah, leaves you some money.
It really does give you a lot of flexibility for your other 2 spots. If you wanted to go with a Chris Kirk or a Horschel, you could, and then still put in like a J Day.
Yeah, you could really do that.
Maybe, I don't know if you could. Maybe you can. But you could play around with it. So that's really interesting with that. So, again, Rory, Pat Perez, RCB, and Austin Cook.
Okay, so I start at the top with Spieth. Then I go to Hadley.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Cook, and then I've got DeChambeau. Leaves you $8,450. Yes.
How do you put DeChambeau? How do you trust Chambeau enough to put him in your core?
Got to. He's playing phenomenal right now.
All right.
I mean, he's in the last 24 rounds. He's 14th in birdies, 3rd in greens in regulation, 33rd in ball striking, 14th in birdies are better, 12th in DraftKings points, 4th in proximity.
So he's first. So he's 5th last week.
In strokes gained par 5.
5th last week.
Okay.
2 weeks ago at Farmers, missed the cut.
Okay.
So that's what you get. You get missed cuts and top 10s.
So I'm hoping for a top 10 at $6,900.
But he's going to miss the cut.
Well, any $6,900 golfer can miss a cut.
Wow. But I feel like you can better your chance than a 50-50 chance down here.
With who?
Cook.
I've got Cook in my lineup.
RCB. Billy Horschel. Streelman.
What's RCB?
69.
So RCB's made 8 of 8 cuts.
Yeah. He's 21st ranked in the world right now.
Yeah, but you have RCB, so I wouldn't feel right taking part of your core.
All right, whatever.
I already pivoted off Perez because you took him.
All right. Who's your winner?
Jordan Spieth.
Okay. Pat Perez is going to win.
Okay. Yeah, we had talked about that a little earlier. I like Pat Perez, and I think he could win very, very easily. But I'm going to take Spieth in this. Got any dark horses?
I mean, is Austin Cook dark horse?
I mean, he's
7,
the lightest
000?
dark horse you'll ever see.
I mean, he doesn't seem right to call him a pump play it, but he is technically at $7,000. So, I think he has a shot to win.
Then you're gonna hate me for mine.
DeChambeau.
Okay.
You clearly didn't watch Sunday's round of golf.
No. Well, I did, but he can do it.
All right. So,
got our core, got our winners.
we argued.
That's
how it goes.
Hey, I have to say, in the last 2 weeks that you posted out your Twitter thing for your voting,
Course.
my core has won twice, and I've got 4 for 4 this week. And how many did you get?
2 for 4.
2 for
Harkins
4.
and Spieth.
Harkins and Spieth, that's right, yeah. So, yeah, and I'll agree. I'm taking a big gamble on DeChambeau. And I'm taking the gamble not that he makes a cut, that he makes top 10. That's what I want. I don't want a made cut from Bryson. I want a top 10.
And if you want to vote, we'll do it again this week. See who you like the most. You can follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Golf Gods. Starting to get a lot more followers over there. We literally made the account 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get some followers. I tweet quite a bit. Matt tweets very little.
I read them all, though.
Well, that's good. And then You can like and subscribe on our YouTube page, and that goes a long way as well. We hit our 100th subscriber last week.
All right.
So,
moving up in the world.
yeah, this is our 12th full pod.
No kidding.
And we hit 100 subscribers, so I like the rate.
I can't believe there's 100 people that actually like us.
I mean, so...
How many of them are family?
I don't have any family watching.
I don't have any either.
So, my family doesn't care. So, hopefully we put out good content. We work hard on it. We have fun with it, but we do enjoy it and put in way too much time and effort into it, though. So, if you do like it, do like and subscribe so your friends can see it. Maybe you and family, and maybe your family likes us more than ours. And that's all I got.
Yeah,
You got anything?
It. No. Hope everybody has a good week. I hope your picks are in the green. We'll see you next week when Tiger plays.
All right. Good luck.
Take care.